build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance to spit in his eye. Well, they gave me bars, but I can see between to a dusty yard and a long gone green. They call that freedom, if you know what I mean. And I dry my sorrows, but the whiskey's gone. I'm sober as good.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Longbangers. I'm Matty. This is episode 131. Joined tonight by start with you, Leon. How you doing, mate?
I'm good. Calmed down a wee bit after last night. I was a bit depressed after that. But nah, better than I. I've had a good scram, so I'm happy.
I got a message at half time from one of my mates saying, "Fucking hell, you're more negative than me" on Twitter tonight.
Mhm.
And I was raging, right? And I was like, come on. Like a day where it just goes like shite really, really quick.
Mhm.
So we had I'd been busy as anything with work, and I'd been finished work, made the dinner, or gone to the shops, made the dinner, fed the dog and made sure the dog was all right and everything. Come up the stairs to watch the football, and as I'm coming in and bringing some washing up with me, and the wardrobe's a bit broken, and our living room it bends a bit. It's like almost like the shape of a ship's sail. And I was like, "What's wrong with that?" And as I was going past it with the washer, I couldn't really see it. I stubbed my toe in something and then banged into it. And then obviously you've got stuff on top of your wardrobe. Basically, stuff comes falling off the wardrobe, turns a can of juice that I've got on the desk, which goes all over my bed. I'm like, "Fuck off, Kieran!" You're like fucking chucking
That's a
things like
disaster.
in a rage and everything. And then sat down to watch the football. Nisbet misses a sitter, and then when I go down, and I'm like, "Fucking onto the Twitter, right? This phone's getting it taken out of it." I'd calmed down by the second half. Can you put everything into perspective?
I put that hang up about the picture they put in the pictures they fucking the first goal and that, and the positions of the players. And then about half an hour into it, 40 minutes in, I was like, "Oh, I should have done that." Because I started doing a wee bit of piling in that. And I was like, I was trying to ram handling in that. I was just trying to say, like, I was just looking at it and I was like, where he was, where they started, they should have been quicker to get back into position. I understood what they were trying to do in that. There was a wee bit where Hanlon was like he was sort of standing watching for a split couple of seconds when Hibs lost the ball, when he should have been moving forward. And I was like, and I'm still getting fucking interaction with the day, and I'm like, fuck, I didn't understand him. You were listening, I'm okay, I wasn't going to say, I wasn't going to take it back, but I wasn't going to direct dig at them, but I was in a fucking rage, kind of like, miss the chance. Then they go up the park and score, and I was like, it's like the fucking cup final again.
That's what it reminded me of. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a wee minute. Colin, how are you doing, mate?
I'm all right. Are we finished? Is that us done for the night?
That's all done.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week.
Me and Matt had a wee chat.
I'm all right. How are you?
Aye, decent, better than I was yesterday. And Raymond, how about you? How are you doing?
Good, thanks, Matty. Yeah, a lot better than yesterday. Like you say, I've really exercised. I've exercised my demons.
Have you been on the bike tonight?
What is that?
Sorry if that's a personal question.
Sweating buckets.
Didn't call her that.
Well, I'm sure it's
Listen, if I thought I could fucking maintain that fucking level for that length of time sexually, I'd be fucking delighted.
Telling everybody, knocking on folks' doors and telling them.
Aye.
Who's it?
At one point, I was putting out fucking 600 watts. There's no danger that's happening on the saga.
I think that's how fires start, is it no? Is it Stuart Francis
was fucking on fire?
Aye.
That's also happens during sex.
Stuart Francis has got a joke where he says, I like going to see houses with period features. He says she hates it when I call her that. Anyway, right, there we go. So football. Last night, Sean Maloney's third game in charge, 2 wins going into it, and then his probably biggest test that he's had so far was Celtic. Colin, I'll come to you first. What was your take on the game, mate?
It was pretty poor. It was really poor, actually. It wasn't too. It didn't feel to me too dissimilar to the game, the 3-1 game just back in November at Easter Road. It was one-way traffic. They never had maybe as many clear-cut chances if they blasted a load over the bar, but it just felt like it was one-way traffic. And the second half was a bit of a non-event. Almost they took the foot off the gas, and we thought, right, we'll just keep the score down. We'll settle for that. pretty disappointing. I still can't quite work out what the formation was. Like Leon sort of started it on there on the defenders for the first goal. I get they're splitting because of this new thing, but was there maybe 3 of them or 2 of them at the back? Don't know. Was he trying to be too clever? Trying to say, 3 when we've got the ball and 4 when we've no, or whatever the other way around. You know what I mean? It was like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, is it too complicated?
They were right wide as well with the split. Ken, I thought,
Yeah.
like obviously, Ken they're trying to take passes a bit wide out, but I thought they were quite far out for it as well.
I sat watching it with my
losing
daughter.
the ball so cheaply, giving the possession away so cheaply in that corner. I think so. That was essentially. Would I not be right in saying there was 3 players in that little corner, right, that were essentially tied up, presumably going to be playing a wee triangle to get out of that position, and then just giving the ball away, and that you essentially took fucking 3 players out the defence immediately. It was a really cheap way to give possession away, and especially where it was.
Now, obviously, Celtic are like a good team, especially at this level. Leon, do you think Hibs were bad or Celtic were really good in the first half?
It's easy to say, but it was a bit of both. I mean, we could have been just as good if we'd put that first chance away. I think we started well and we go into some decent positions, but then I think as soon as they scored and the pressure they were putting on us on the ball, I think a lot of the players they were struggling to get out. The Celtic are a good side, and they've got better every week under the new manager. They've got better and better and better. The press that they play is obviously a wee bit like what we're trying to do, but the players are fucking miles better at it. They're sharp, they're quick. The boys from Japan are signing every one of them is rapid, specifically for that reason. They're mobile as anything, and I think Celtic look. I think like Colin said at the second half, like they stood off in that. But somebody put a thing on Twitter today, the stats, and it was like, I'm sure Hibs in the last 3 games under Maloney have hit over, it's like 85% or between 83 and 85% with possession, and we'd only done that. We had done something like 82 was our highest prior to Maloney even coming in. So I didn't believe that all our possessions been like just passing side. He's obviously. Ken was going a bit of a shout about the backward passing at times, and I was not taking the risks. And Maloney mentioned that as well. But even in the second half as well, I thought we looked going to good areas. Do you get what I mean?
I lost you a wee bit there.
Sorry, mate, I broke up. Sorry.
Aye.
Sorry. Sorry. No, you go.
So you were saying there about Maloney saying it was his job to kind of coach the players. That's kind of where I got to before.
Aye,
that interrupted there.
I think he's talking about position. Like he's saying that they're getting into areas, but then they're not taking a chance to get forward. So they've they're not taking risks. So I think, and you've seen that during the game. Like Celtic were in positions and they were taking the risks. They were taking they were going forward. They were taking like the sharp, taking it in tight spaces and that. So I feel, overall, like Celtic were brilliant last night and probably did step off a wee bit in the second half. But Hibs conceding the goals were pretty poor, I feel.
Yeah, Colin, was it a case of Celtic taking the foot off the gas in the second half, or did Hibs get a lot better?
It was maybe a bit of both, just like the last time. Like I was saying, like if you compare it to that last game, I think we got better, but they did take the foot off the gas. We maybe got better because they took the foot off the gas, though. You know what I mean? It gave the opportunity to get a bit of hold on the game, but it could have been different with that chance in the first three minutes. I don't know if it would have been though. You know, it was like the last time I think we said, "Oh, if Newell had scored," you know what I mean? It was like we were getting totally overrun. The midfield was swamped last night. I don't know how many us we had in there because I don't know what formation we were playing. I don't know if Campbell was wing back or fucking midfield or what he was meant to be doing. I don't know. I have no idea. But the midfield got swamped, totally overrun. That laddie, Hot Tatty or something, Hot Tatty, we'll call him. He just ran the game like everything they done.
He
And
was brilliant.
he was excellent. And in the press, as I think Leon said, they were just, I don't know if their players are good enough to play against it. Like they just looked uncomfortable with the ball at their feet. They just did look like they wanted to get rid of it.
I think the difference was we're incredibly risk averse. Yeah. So like when we receive the ball, when either of our two holding midfielders, as far as I could make out, but as you say, it was hard to work out. But I reckon there was sort of two holding midfielders in Newell and JDH. Yeah. They're instinctively playing the ball sideways or backwards to the centre halves, or to if the wing backs out wide for them. Now, the difference with Celtic was any player getting the ball in that position in the middle of the park, they've immediately got people running into space off the ball in front of them in advanced positions, and they're pinging that ball to them quickly. And the ball's getting turned and moved very, very quickly. We're not doing that now. Celtic are 6 months, 8 months further down the line than we've been where we are.
£1 million.
They've got a hell of a bigger budget. They've got a hell of a lot better players. So take that into account. We have to give Maloney time. We have to give him a chance. I mean, God's sake. I mean, I can't believe that I'm even having to say this, but I've been reading comments from people sort of going, "Oh, hope this isn't the way that it was going to be," and all the rest of it. You're going, what? I've been over this ground so many times. To use the Rangers' favourite phrase, it beggars belief.
It's funny, yeah. It's a different. I don't know. It is a different culture because when Mowbray came in and said he was going to change things and players will make mistakes because I'm asking them to be brave and do different things to what they're used to and all that, we all lapped that up. We got beat off Kilmarnock in the first game and went, that's all right, because it looked better. But we've went now. I don't know if it's the sort of social media culture and all that. That's like, and then I suppose the way because Ross left and there was a bit of a split there, wasn't there, about whether he should have went or whether he should not, whether he should have went or not. And there's
one of the things I think
live to
culturally.
Sorry, Raymond.
No, not at all. I was interrupting you. I beg your pardon. I think just one of the things culturally, this is going to be a bit philosophical, but society in general, everyone wants gratification immediately. Everyone wants to get what they want immediately, and they're not prepared to put the work in to actually sort of graft a bit to achieve things. I mean, that's a very sweeping statement, I accept. However, it seems to be reflected in social media, and it's not just Hibs. It's just you look at any sort of football account. It's why are we not winning? Why are we not doing this? Why are we not doing that? Why have we not bought this player? Why have we it doesn't work like that. Life doesn't work like that.
It's a funny thing, because I mean, this was Sean Maloney's first big game, and he seemed to have, and rightly so, folk were quite quick to sort of make excuses as to why we didn't win it, and I think most folk, when we didn't beat Celtic, can understand why we didn't beat them. But it's just that kind of different way of looking at it. I suppose you raised that with me earlier on, Colin. Like that.
Aye, well, there's a different. I mean, a lot was made about the big game record previously, so anybody was arguing on that side before immediately got to go, oh fuck, it's no changed then, has it? And that wasn't the point I made to you, right enough. I was making the point that people that were making the argument are now making the excuse saying, well, they're millions of pounds ahead of us, and you go, but that didn't count when Jack Ross was the manager. So there's people trying to prove their point, and they're still trying to just need to get over it. Like me and John said, like we're sport Hibs, we're the sport manager. We've got a manager. He'll be here. Like I already heard somebody saying before in the build up to the game, oh, he'll be likely to be the next Celtic manager, like on BBC Radio on Sunday, I think it was, or Monday night. No, it must have been Sunday actually. Aye, Darryl Broadfoot and that were on, and you're going, fuck's sake, like. They're already talking about it. That's what's just going to happen. We're going to be looking for another manager. If he does well, we're looking for another manager next summer. You know what I mean? So,
And it's,
didn't get too hit up about it. It's Hibs'
Folk
spot.
always try to get their point in early again, though. I've spoken about this before, Ken. Just
Mm.
being negative or making a shitty point and just hoping for fucking the best that it stands out so they can come back 6 months later and say, see, I told you so, I told you so. Back in my
And that's
stuff,
why
back in my stuff.
3 games in, they're already saying we shouldn't have changed them again, or hinting
Mhm.
towards that. So, aye.
and it's probably not reasonable to expect much of a difference after 3 games. With any manager coming into any club, sure, there are exceptions, Ken. You could probably look at the boy Tuchel at Chelsea as one that made an immediate difference, but it's rare that if a team's not doing that great, a new manager comes in and is able to totally revamp it. You have that bounce, that gets talked about, but I think actually there's stats to show that that's no the case in the majority of the times, or it's very, very short lived. Raymond, we had, obviously there's been new signings that have come in this window. Only Rocky started. How did you view his performance?
I thought he did. I thought he did all right, actually. I thought he did quite well. There was as I said last night, I'll use it again. He had a couple of rocky moments at the beginning, but other than that, I felt he did well. I mean, bear in mind he's not played with a team before. His first game's at Celtic Park against the best team in the league, in my opinion. So I think he did bloody well, considering. His passing. I tell you what I noticed was his passing is so firm. It's aimed at players like the way it should be. It's absolutely, you sort of go like, okay, right, you've had that football education. You can always see that in players. That ability to strike that ball in a pass with pace and accuracy, so I did pick that up. Well, now that I've said all this, you get what's going to happen next week. Yeah.
10 off against Cove. Aye. And Leon, would you like to have seen any of the other signings, or do you think that there should have been more changes?
No, I seen everybody go mental. I've seen all the folks saying all that stuff. Mueller's shite, yeah. He must be shite. He must be shite because Jamie Murphy got on for him, so that's it. He's pishy. And on it, but like loads were saying it. I'm like, fucking laddies, they've already mentioned in the media about guys like Mueller saying that he's still trying to get up to speed with the pace of the game, and it's a massive culture difference. I ken football's football, but nobody kens ins and outs of boys coming. The boys moved halfway across the world to live in a different country and that. I mean, you're not going to. They didn't look, players go right in sometimes, but everybody's different. I feel
Can
like
you get up to, but Leon, do you get up to speed by not playing?
I get that. No, I get that. So do I, Ken. I think he's played a full season too. Ken, whereas he might not have the break that others have had, and maybe he's technically having to go through. Aye, so maybe he's having to go through like a pre-season. Get what I mean? And then come in light in that. Whereas, and they didn't want to chuck him into the high tempo games where Celtic's probably the highest tempo game you will play. Ken.
I just assumed he had a knock. I assumed he had maybe just a slight knock, but they've sort of went, well, you know what? It's just not worth it. It's just not worth risking making it worse.
I would have loved to see Maroon because the game was like everybody wants to see their new signings. If every new signing had started, everybody would have been really excited to watch the game as well. Thinking, it's great to see what these new players are like and all that. But I think the way it is, it looks like he's just trying to bleed them in, and he's got his system. He's trying to change the system and introduce players at the same time. So it's got. I don't know. He's a fucking process because it's the fucking phrases that folk use, but it's got to be like a process, isn't it? And you've got to go to Celtic Park. You've got to put in some tried and tested as well, or you could end up in big deep trouble.
Oh, you say that, but then sorry, Matthew, but you tried and tested. Like looking at the subs, right? Nine subs. One of them's a goalie, so eight subs, right? And you can use 5 of them. If I had said to you before the game, who do you think sub 1 and sub 2 will be? It would have probably been Deutsch and Mueller, right? And there's 2 that didn't get used. It was almost like he was. It was like he was firing in all the bodies that haven't played this season. I don't know, get the match fit.
See, the thing is, he's gave me that vibe with boys like Alan and that. And it's like he's giving them opportunities, and I don't know if it's like even with like Dre Wright, and fair dues to Dre Wright, started in that because he'd obviously put the performance in the previous game and that, and it's a bit like, well, is he maybe even with Alan and that? Is it maybe saying again, this clean slate thing again is maybe just he's fully playing that and saying, well, I'm getting him on the park. See what he can do. See what he can do.
I think it's mental when you look at the last. I looked on the BBC earlier on, like because I was thinking about this, and I wrote it down that Doidge is now in the park, Mueller's now in the park, but Allen, Wright, Scott, Bradley, and even Murphy have all got minutes ahead of the two.
Doidge was
That's
a funny one for
mental
me.
to think of that, you know.
Doidge was a funny one for me. Like, and I was when I'd seen all the nonsense about maybe going to Dundee and that, I was a bit like, am I missing something here? And for what he offers us, and maybe it's just maybe the player, the manager. And obviously that came to be all the nonsense. But at the time, I was like, "Fuck, am I missing something?" The way maybe he just doesn't think he's going to fit in the system, and I'm hoping to see him play.
Yeah, when we were going through that bad run, we were like, "When's Doidge back? When's Doidge back?" That'll make a big difference. And somebody was it Dave in the group that says 29 minutes he's played since he came back from injury.
And the thing is, for how Maloney wants it, I think Doidge is ideal for it because
the one man up front,
although he's a big guy, he's got a good touch on him. When you watch him, his work rate's phenomenal. I mean, I kind of so.
I feel like he always does the right thing.
Aye, I'm not of a mind to slaughter players, right? But see if you compare the work rate in Nisbet and Doidge, night and day. He puts himself about. He'll go, can chasing lost causes and all the rest of it, and that's what Maloney's wanting. He's wanting that kind of work rate.
Well, you noticed last night, Celtic's press was so good with us. They were really stopping us moving that ball from the edge of our box, yeah? They were making it really hard and occasionally forcing the keeper to play the ball long. And when the ball went long, the person up there was Boyle up against either Starfelt or Carter Vicker.
Carter the Vicar.
They were literally just over his shoulders going, right, okay, I'll just take that. And so if you would have Doidge there's your physical challenge. There's your able to either hold it up or knock it down to one of the midfielders. It struck me as being quite an obvious thing to do, but he's in the process of doing something new. I didn't understand the subs.
Team in the sub last night were like it was like a boo boy's dream last night. That's what I was thinking. Looking at it, I was going to see.
It was like he was noising. It was like he was noising them up. It was like he'd read Twitter. I mean, Dre Wright's starting. Scott, you're getting on. You know what I mean? It was mad. It was.
That's it. Get Murphy warm up. Here we go. Every looking and the ones that we want to see is keeping on the bench. And to be fair though, I didn't think any of the subs did bad when they came on. Like I didn't think Dre Wright had a bad game either. Like he was. I think he was great, but I think he was.
Well, Donnelly was solid enough, and
he wasn't worse than anybody else.
Stuff in that, and I feel like was it him that could have put the cross back in for Nisbet in that? I think Starfelt stoked the cross. It was either him or Cadden, and they say, but I'm sure he was involved in that. I'm sure he was involved in that move as well. Like, no, I thought Jerry done well. I thought
maybe he's trying to put some value on them before he punts them.
Maybe.
Could be. Right, I want to talk about the midfield too. Newell and Doyle Hayes. A lot of the chat on Twitter last night, I think I was involved in that as well, was a bit propensity to pass backwards. So, Raven, I'll get your opinion first. What do you make of Doyle Hayes and Newell as a midfield pairing?
They're too similar. They're incredibly similar to my mind. Well, playing where they play, they've both got a similar mental outlook to the game, which and it's one of we'll go back to that again. It's this sort of safety first sort of attitude. It's not having the bravery to make the pass. Now, what I will say in the defence, to play the way that Maloney wants to play and move the ball very quickly from these and using these guys almost like I see them in this sort of pivotal role, almost like if you imagine a quarterback looking to make the pass out to to use that analogy, that quarterback needs wide receivers to get the ball, and they've got to move into positions in an open space in the field, right? And it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. Because you need to be able to you need the guys up front to be moving quickly, moving amongst into spaces so that ball can be passed and moved. And as soon as that pass is made, they've got to then be moving forward from that and take the game forward very quickly. Now, at the moment, That's just not happening because they're getting the ball, they're playing safety first, they're playing it back to centre half, or maybe they're playing it out to the wing back if he's pushed himself forward slightly, which doesn't let us break lines at all. So having two of them doing that just exacerbates it.
What about you, Leon? What's your view on it?
I think they'll be good players there tonight in that, but there's been a lot said about them when they play together, and I don't know if they're too much how much in this. I don't think they're identical, but I think what they want to do and get involved in, and I think maybe the system they play in, they do come across quite similar. But it's no work. It's not been working like that well. I don't think. It never was last night. Like you said, it was always seemed to safe for the side pass or the back pass or opportunity to break, and it was like we just need to hold on to the ball. No, I didn't care if that was due to the fact that the Celtic pressing, it was the point that we need to build possession. We need to build on the ball. We need to tire them out. We need to stretch them as well. And maybe they were getting instructions to play like that. But I think if they two started and set them together start of next season, I'd be very, very surprised the way it's gone anyway.
I will say in the defence, as you said there, it was against Celtic. It was against the best team in the league. So it is harder for them. If they do the same thing against, I don't know, the same thing against Motherwell, say Livingston, where we have to address it. But against Celtic, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
Colin, if you were going to change it, what change would you make to that period?
I'd be looking to bring somebody in. Is that where Henderson plays? Hopefully he's up to it. Because I think only one of them can play there. When we played their best football this season, it was when they both played in there, but they had McGuinness in the team with them. So they can both play in the same team because they have, and we looked good at Motherwell, we looked good against Ross County. Even up in Dundee, I know we drew, but the first 3-4 games of the season, they were playing together in that midfield. So they can. Obviously, it's a wee bit like I'd be interested to see how many times they play the ball back versus how many times they play the ball forward, because you do remember the ones that go back. It's like the keeper gets a hard time for his distribution because he kicks out of the park once, and it's like, but he done it once, but you remember the once, so his distribution was shocking. Whereas how many times have they actually gone forward? How many times have they gone back? Because we're going, they're fucking gone back again. But I seen them both play forward passes last night.
Mm-hmm.
But I seen them play back passes backward as well. But I remember Neil Lennon having a go at the Celtic fans when he was at Celtic because they booed when he played the ball sideways or backwards in a European game. And he's like, do these cunts not understand? You need to keep ahead of the ball sometimes. That was effectively what he said. But probably exactly what he said to the press and the editor who they printed it, because it is the case. It's like, and you hear it, it's like, get the ball forward, and then it's like, but we want to play pretty football. But if we're just kicking the ball forward, that's just like punting it forward. Yeah. You just want to be punting it forward, or you want us to play nice football?
Some folk want the bastard stuff, no way.
So it's like you can't always play the ball forward.
No, of course you can't. But equally, you can't. You have to break those lines sometimes. Otherwise, you just end up with possession essentially in your own half. You're not gaining anything. You don't have to be punting the ball forward once you get it. If you've got your two wide men and your forward, if any of them are dropping into these gaps,
and that's
what you want.
But was that happening? And is that why they're looking and going, "There's fuck all"?
Well, and there was a couple of occasions. There was a couple of occasions I saw Jake Hayes making a nice sort of big diagonal ball out to the wide. That was going forward, and that was good. Another positive that I noticed last night was we've got midfielders that are hitting the box now. They're hitting the penalty spot, and they're hitting the 6-yard box. When the ball goes wide in the Cubs square, there was people there. Now the Celtic defenders got to it, and they dealt with the problem, but we've now got those midfielders making those moves. We didn't have that before.
I thought we were quite good at times at getting the ball up to the 18-yarder. Once we were up there, though, we ran out of ideas. Apart from, so you got the chance that Nisbet misses, where we get an early cross in. But there was a few times where we had pretty good moves to get to there. But once we got there, it was like, fuck do we do now? And I think that's where I started getting frustrated with it. Was you go and put a cross in or have a shot, even, or try to beat your man. Excuse me.
Is that a lack of confidence in Nisbet as well for our players, maybe?
It's an interesting point.
Maybe they're not going to say, "Oh, I'm not going to pass him because he's not very good." But I mean, like the difference they're saying he's not in form. If I put it across the box as a wasted ball, if I didn't make this pass absolutely bang on, or the cross or whatever, he's not getting it. Whereas if somebody who was like a bit more sharper and about the box,
Even if you do, yeah.
right, guy. So this is the thing, and maybe that's playing on their mind a wee bit, and maybe not try and walk it in, but you know what I mean, sort of similar along the lines.
We should probably talk about that miss though. I mean, how the fuck did he miss? That's all. Like,
what do you think is going on with Nisbet now then?
Fuck knows. I mean that.
I'm feeling it's getting a pile on as well. It's getting bad. Like he's deactivated his Twitter again, I think. And that's about the third time he's done it. Somebody put a post up today, and I went and searched it, and his Twitter's like doing the now. Okay, you can deactivate it for a while, then reactivate it. You get lose your followers or something. It's fucking shite part for the Hibs fans at times, you know what I mean? And again, it's frustrating in that when the players are missing chances and you think they're not working hard because of the way they play. And I mean, you had how many fucking players did you come across? I bet you folk used to fucking say about Russell Lappy when he never played well, never worked hard. Oh, he doesn't work hard enough. Doesn't he tackle? Exactly. Colin, you've said that hundreds of times. Exactly. You're absolutely spot on. Aye. Radden was the best example. Exactly. Now they're fucking banners up for him if they could get him in.
Although I mean, he doesn't help himself because he does look like a spoilt brat at times, like the way he looks about. Even we spoke about when he came out for the cup final that day. I mean, watching life in, what's fucking wrong with him? Like walking out the tunnel for a cup final, you think something wrong with this boy. And then you look back, and his history doesn't help him either because his attitude was thinking as a laddie. That's what's taking him to his age he is now to get here. Because his attitude was shite. He wasn't training hard enough for that. A boy I work with is a Partick Thistle fan, and he says, I can't believe that last season when he was scoring goals, I can't believe that's the same Kevin Nisbet that was at Partick Thistle. Because he was fucking shite for them. They wanted rid of him. He was overweight. He was unfit. His attitude was stinking. And he eventually saw the light, and got a personal trainer or whatever, lost a bit of weight, and got his head down and scored goals for, was it Wraith and Dunfermline? And then got his move. And then as soon as we went, well, we want a wee bit more money, it's like he's went, fuck he's in. And his attitude's went to fuck again. I kind of lost his dad. Maybe his dad was a mentor for him in that. I don't know. Maybe he's kind of lost his dad last year in that as well, didn't he? So maybe I don't care. But we need to support the boy through. He's still a Hibs player. We shouldn't be fucking hammering him on Twitter like that. I don't care why folk think that's the right way to go about it. But it doesn't help. He needs this bit of personal responsibility as well. Like he doesn't give off the vibes that. See, when Doidge isn't playing well, we gave him a bit of a hard time. But how often did on Quick Bang in that last year did we give Doidge the benefit of the doubt because he was running about like a fucking mad bastard, right? Nisbet looks like I can't be fucked, and whether that is what he's doing, that's the perception he's giving off to everybody, and that's why.
I think it's his demeanour as well. I think it's maybe just the way he naturally is. I don't think he's. I don't think he's terribly exuberant, and it's the people's interpretation of it is that. I mean, there is no doubt he could do more, but I see absolutely no use whatsoever in laying into him. What are you hoping to achieve by giving the boy abuse? I mean, seriously, what are you hoping to achieve? Because you're going to do nothing but make it worse, right? I mean, do people still think that if you shout at somebody for long enough, they're going to work harder for you?
Yeah, they do. That's right.
That's bollocks, and we know it's bollocks. You know. I mean, you used the analogy before, Colin, and I'll let you say it. You're talking about the family.
Aye. What was it exactly? When somebody in your family goes off form or does something out of the norm, you support them through it, don't you? You don't fucking just kick them in the stains and kick them while they're down and tell them to get the fuck. You try and help them. You try and bring them back. You try and help them see the light. But we've got an element. It's not every Hibs fan. There's loads that would agree with us. I'm sure there'll be people listening to this going, "Nah, you're fucking right." But it's that 100 people or however many on Twitter, probably fucking anonymous usernames and all that as well, just bashing into the boy.
There's a really good thread on Twitter, so I'll cover it off. Right, so Jeff Ashton, he tagged us in it, along with other, down the slope and Hibs talk. And he was talking about his own experience. He said, just my view on this bit as an ex-striker, but not at that level. I was poached by a bigger club in the old East of Scotland League to be their main striker. Started off okay, scored a few, but then fell out of favour. Subbed for a few games, including a cup final. My confidence was lower than a snake's belly. Anyway, I was brought back in for a game at Hoyk RA. First half, ball was cut back, and from about 2 yards, I slid in and shinned it over the bar as it hit a bump. The few fans in attendance let me know what they thought, and it wasn't pleasant. Miraculously, the manager kept me on for the second half. I could still hear the groans from our fans as I came out. After about 70 minutes, I chased a hopeful ball and won a 50-50 with the keeper, and the ball was in the net. Probably wouldn't be allowed today, but hey-ho, I'd scored. 5 minutes later, I scored a raker, turned two defenders and lashed it in the top corner. We won 2-0. I went on to score about 30 goals, and we won the league. All down to confidence and getting your belief back. Looking at Nizzy, I feel that's all he needs and he'll shine again. No social media in the late 70s, but I equate those fans on here writing him off or worse, with those Vale fans demanding I be subbed or worse. I succeeded in spite of them, not because of them. A few goals and I was a fan favourite again. Please give the guy a break. Don't boo him off the park like some last night. That was embarrassing and not worthy of our club. Let's try singing his name, cheering him, and getting back to the prize asset he was and can still be. Rant over. What do you think about that, Leon?
Can't argue with that at all. Absolutely spot on. I've never worked in any job in my life or been in any fucking anything in my life where fucking harassing folk and kicking folk when they're doing. And I can't look, football's a different game. I can't, it's supposed to be a different game, and some folk get a wee bit of fire in their belly and want to prove folk wrong. But I think when it goes a certain amount of time, you've got to be like, look, we need to get behind this boy. And like I was raging last night, he missed it. But it's a fucking chance. He's a striker. Strikers miss chances. Again, it's not, he never fucking got sent off. He never fucking conceded a fucking scored a last minute own goal that he should never have done. He missed a chance. And don't get me wrong, it was a fucking easy chance, but he was in the position to be there. And how many strikers at fucking top level and commentators have said that about players, that as long as they're getting in the positions, the goals will come eventually. The folks are saying, I need to take him to the team and give him a rest. And I think he has played a lot of games in that, and he's maybe has catching up on him a wee bit. Folk are saying give him a rest in that, but I think the next game is a game that you fucking play him, get his low league opposition, and get him fucking firing. If or no, or he doesn't, he's fucking out.
I mean, remind people about that. I mean, the semi-final against Rangers, the touch, turn, and pass for Boyle's second, I think it was exceptional, and he's absolutely that. That's the thing. If I've got a complaint about him at all, other than what would appear to be a lack of effort running about, it's sometimes I just want him to laces to the ball. He's very prone to trying nice wee side foot and sort of place it into the corners. Nothing wrong with that. Obviously, that's fantastic. But there's occasion where just rattle it, just leather it, because even if the keeper gets something on it, it's either going to go past him or sort of go ricocheting about the place.
Okay, and last thing on the game for last night, what did we learn about Sean Maloney's Hibs last night? Colin, I'll ask you first.
What did I learn? I learned that maybe our defenders aren't that comfortable on the ball as maybe we thought we were. Especially, we don't know about the boy Rocky, did we? I thought Hanlon was more comfortable on the ball than he showed. I think. Not that he made any mistakes. He actually had no bad game. I'm not in a pile on him either. But I just think I looked at them and I thought they just look like they're in a panic every time they get the ball. That the midfield go overrun again. I think it's something that and there isn't still much attacking threat. So I think there's still a lot to change, but he knows what he's got to change because he's been speaking about it since he came in. So I think there's I can't think of many positives. One thing we never mentioned. Well, Nisbet's miss. How the fuck did he miss it? Right? Like I still don't know. Like why he could have took it with his left foot. He could have swept it with the right foot in the bottom corner. It was harder to miss. But the second goal. See if it hits your chest and on your arm. That's not a penalty, is it?
I think they changed.
That was the rule. At one point, they changed that again.
One season it was if it came off another body part and then hit your hand, it wasn't a penalty, but I think they changed it just if your arm's out.
There's no way Colin saw it. He only heard the crowd shouting for it and he gave it. Like, so.
But that was
Well,
a shame.
the linesman must have seen it, surely. And they're all mic'd up, so you'd think even if he's not seen it himself, you'd like to think the linesman's giving him a shout.
Maybe.
It'll have been, what's his face, beaten in the crowd. He'll shout to him.
Let's be honest, it was a penalty, you know what I mean? It would be churlish if I saw it sit here and say
it wasn't at one point. It wasn't at one point when the rule was that wasn't a penalty.
Aye,
because
if it was too close to you or if it come off you.
Hit off you. It was only last season.
Aye, but you used to be able to play the ball back to the keeper as well and he could pick it up, you know?
Aye, but this was only a rule like last season or something. That rule about hitting the body, and I can't remember it ever getting told that it got changed. I can't remember reading that, but aye. So it's not like we're going back to the 80s for pass backs. You know what I mean? It's like fucking
it was just
a rule
season,
that changed in the recent history.
Okay, right. We've got a few comments from our Twitter followers. So Jeff Ashton, who had the last tweet there, he said it didn't work with Campbell on the left. 90% of the time it broke down when he got it. Cost us the first goal. Playing from the back is great until you have to hoof it, and you still have 3 defenders in the 18-yard box. Midfield had no chance. Jake Doyle-Hayes and Newell don't work together. Any disagreements? Agreement with that? Ray?
I think we've essentially covered all that anyway, have we not?
Pretty much.
It's as good as.
Vince Robinson said, is there a good Japanese word to describe our defending?
Kamikaze.
Harikari. Charlie said horse shit, Colin. I think of horse shit, isn't it?
Nice. Quite eloquent. Really eloquent.
Gary Cunningham said shito or shito. Des shite, and then Charlie horse shit. All good Japanese words. South London Hibs said it felt like a what's that buzzing? Is anybody seeing that buzzing? Or is it just me?
No, I heard that.
Right, turn it off, whoever it is. This isn't the appropriate venue for your buzzy things. South London Hibs said felt like a very easy change to move Campbell, who was clearly uncomfortable on the left, onto Hatate and give us the dynamism in the middle of the park defensively that we were lacking. Some weird subs and folk singing Rangers songs made it a night to forget. I saw a bit of chat about that online as well, like about I think what's it, the Block 7 or whatever, where I think fucking singing songs about the Lisbon Lions and stuff like that for.
What are
they? One week we were singing fucking Irish songs against Rangers and then that against Celtic, so I didn't came with their fucking standing on their political views and stuff like that at the moment, but it seems to fucking change like the wind.
Not the best,
They've been winding fucking up in that, but how many, three players representing Hibs, I think?
Aye.
Fucking can have a word there.
Aye. Connor Scott, worst on the park. Hanlon, though, Jesus, is so average, it's scary. Captain of the team, give me a break. So I didn't think Hanlon was bad last night. I actually don't think Hanlon gets a lot of stick. In my opinion, Hanlon gets a lot of unmerited stick. I think if it's that familiarity, breeding contempt thing that we've talked about before.
Yeah, I'd agree with you,
Mike. Mike, why did James Scott get a game ahead of Doidge? Felt also that Jake Doyle-Hayes needs to learn to pass the ball forward and not backwards far too many times tonight. The safe option was taken and players looking for the easy option instead of trying to play football. Piss poor from Nizzy also. What am I thinking?
The safe passing, though, we've spoken about that. Was it? They were under pressure. The press, Celtic's press was fucking. They're getting that down to a T, and absolutely, especially their level. And I just think that we've obviously been hit hard with the 2 goals. Obviously, the penalty is what is the goal we lost, and maybe it was let's not lose. Maybe the chat even on the park and in the fucking changing room was let's not lose any more stupid goals. Let's not take any fucking stupid risks. So if you're making a pass, make sure it's fine and feet. Maybe that's what it is.
Stuart said Macy was so slow to get rid of the ball. There were a few times Cadden and in the second half Lewis were free looking for a quick throw out and he just held on to it. So Colin, I know you pay close attention to Macy's distribution. Did you pick up on anything like that last night?
I don't know. It's one of these ones you maybe see better at the game, but I think it's just a default blame again. It's like folk shout like it's like I don't know. They just. I've been paying attention to every keeper's distribution since I hear about how bad the Hibs goalie's distribution is, and every game I've watched, a goalie's either caused a goal or put one straight at the park or passed it to the opposition. It's just what they do. It's just because they probably get the ball as often as anybody. Maybe not, but they get the ball a lot and in dangerous positions, and they're not that good at football because that's why they're in goals, and it's just what happens. I don't know if I never noticed them not chucking it out quickly yesterday, but I watched it on the telly, so maybe when you're sitting up high, sometimes you can see it better than the people in the park, which is another reason why I don't understand why managers didn't sit up higher to see a better view of the game rather than standing on the touchline.
I'd honestly argue that I think his distributions go better every week, weekly since Sean Maloney's came in. I was talking to somebody about that the other day, and I was watching it last night, and I kept saying about the quick throws out and that, but so what if it doesn't want to get to him? Maybe he never felt it was a right fucking play to play. Ken, maybe he's got shouting snares around the park that are saying, actually not, or the fucking manager's shouting, no, didn't play it that way, fucking play it through the centre. Ken, folk are just fucking like, because one player's fucking jumping up doing what a pass. Ken.
I know, there was one game, Leon, I think it was Aberdeen game actually, before Christmas there, that there was folk shouting, "Get fucking chuck it out really quickly" to one of the fullbacks, and that was when Maloney came at the dugout and was getting at that with the hands, like almost like fucking calm the fuck down. Ken, I don't know if he was who he was signalling it, but it was quite an incident. It was just so happens after a few hundred or a couple of thousand folk had shouted at basically chuck the ball out quicker. That he was like, just calm the fuck down, because you could put somebody in danger there. Ken,
I think the fullbacks get excited sometimes, and they're wanting out, and they're pulling out to get the pass and the layoff and the quick and that. But if you're going to do it every fucking time, it's not going to work every time, is it? So can you just fucking play the ball every time they're screaming on it? There's other passes to play to be done for me.
you're on mute, Matty.
Matty, you're on mute.
We're doing that thing. We're doing the thing where we're talking about short bangers.
Aye, that's what is it? I was trying to find out what it's buzzing, so it's still buzzing. So I was like muting. I muted.
I can hear it.
I can see it. Right, hold on. So I've just muted you, Colin. It's still happening, so it's no you. You'll need to come off mute now, Colin. And Leon, I'll mute you. Oh, listen to that. There's a culprit.
That's bliss, man. Yes.
Aye.
He's got a fucking vibrator up his arse or something.
There you go. He can still hear you. Aye. He can still hear.
Aye.
That's good for all the listeners. I was sitting going, fucking thank God for that. That's fine, Leon. We'll just get you to come off mute when you want to speak, mate. Aye, Nico Kerr. Chris Mueller's been training with Hibs for 4 weeks now. Why is he still not match fit? Now, there was a reply. Ben Jaloon on Twitter said maybe because in those 4 weeks he's not played in any matches to get fit. Training in America is more based on technical stuff and physical, so every chance he's way behind others. And Mark McKenzie said, I think he said on a pod that he did physical stuff at Orlando, but training was much more intense here. We kind of touched on it already. Leon, you mentioned about maybe having to get a pre-season. Colin, you said, well, he's had quite a long time where he's not been playing, and Raymond, you suspected he might have had a bit of a knock. I'm sure Maloney said he was a wee bit behind where the rest of the club or the rest of the players were at the moment as well in the run up to the game. So,
well, that being the case, why was he named on the bench? You know why? You know, I don't know who else. I don't even know if Tate's got an injury. For instance, you know, why wasn't he on the bench? For example, it just seems a bit daft that if that is the case, you know, what's he doing there?
Aye. Right, curving this bit. John says, instead of watching the game, I was mucking about with a bit of software that hides one type of file inside another. Text within a JPEG, for example. Which Hibs player would you like to see hidden inside another Hibs player to either be left there or later extracted? And I think we ascertained, somebody else replied there, if they pick up the attributes of that player.
Take it, we can't mention the Boyles.
Probably best not there. So if you could have one player absorb another player's and take on their attributes, who would your ideal combination be?
Susie and Lata put together.
Aye,
Dream team.
you're talking like Zidane levels there, aren't you? Like that's
Oh, that's. I mean, he wouldn't play for Hibs.
no.
What about the current team then? The current team,
Aye.
though, if you were to stick, I don't know, Doidge and Nisbet would blended would be quite a good thing, wouldn't it? Like, I think Nisbet's probably a better finisher than Doidge. Doidge does a lot of work, covers off some of the complaints.
What about Newell and Jade Doyle Hayes? Just
I
to
was
see what
thinking
happens.
I know.
Bring somebody else in.
Stop passing it fucking backwards.
I got Macy and Scott Allen because then you've got the goalkeeping skills
The
and
distributor.
the passer. Eh?
Perfect. Imagine him
What
trying to
about
pick past it. But the thing is, it didn't always come off. But imagine it then. Imagine like
Oh,
when
fuck,
when
aye.
Scott Allen nearly makes a really good pass. Maybe we spoke about that. I think
Aye.
was it when me and John were on? He nearly made that really good pass. Like, but he never. So his
Aye.
distribution was very good. Eh?
What about you, Leon? Who you combining?
Ryan Porteous and Hanlon. Get a Cam Heed on fucking Ryan Porteous' body and we're flying.
Who you playing at left centre back?
Rocky.
Be fitted, eh? Be fitted so you can fucking play anyway,
2-footed now.
eh?
Could we get John McGinn's arse on somebody?
Aldo said only caught the second half and Nisbet's missed through socials, but playing Jake Doyle Hayes and Newell together in the middle just doesn't work. Nisbet was a waste of a shirt. Dr. Dre worked his socks off but isn't the answer on the left, and Rocky looked a capable player. Stuart McGregor said it would be interesting to see stats on how many easy option passes were made backwards or sideways. I reckon Joe Newell would have won that battle over Jake Doyle Hayes by a country mile last night. And Guinness 2022 said, sorry, it's a question for John. We'll keep that for short bangers. Louisa's said, Buchan Nisbet. Buchan, by the way, see when I was, and I care if this is a Scottish thing or what, we used to go, I had, my aunt and uncle lived in Preston Pans, and we would go out to visit them, and we would be sitting, and my mum and dad, they'd always talk about politics and arguing about how shite the Tories and Thatcher and that were, but they didn't go, they just say, fuck it, was Buchan, the Buchan Tories and Buchan. I think it was the point in that, like, it's still the same intention, but I saw it in that tweet and I was like, it took me right back, Buchan this, but I might start adopting it and just start dropping into conversation every now and again, particularly when there's young kids around.
My 4-year-old's already knows what a bad word is and she tells me. So that's a naughty word, Dad, that's a bad word, and I'm like, fucking so embarrassed.
Honestly, I used to I don't know. When I started taking them at the football, I would say, right, you've got to hear swear words in that. So as long as you came what a swear word is, you didn't say it back. You didn't repeat it.
Aye.
But that's what happened. Somebody pulled these on it and they says, somebody pulled these like, I can't believe she knows what a bad word is already. I was like, that's brilliant. It goes, and she knows it's a bad word, so she'll never use it. And honestly, that's well day.
But nothing more embarrassing than having one of your kids kind of swear but not care how to use it properly.
Right.
It's got to be in the context.
My mate Stevie, he went to see Star Wars film, Rogue One, right? I think if any he's seen it, it's fucking quality, right? One of the best Star Wars films. And there's a bit at the end where Darth Vader comes in and he's at the cinema and he just loses himself. He goes, "Oh yeah, cunt," like that. And there's he sat next to two bairns and their mum gave him fucking pelters for it. even after this, so they got out the cinema and he apologised. When they'd go back to the car, she was parked over for him and he said, "Really sorry." She's like, "You should ken better." She still kept having a go at him.
I nearly got lifted at Ellen Road for shouting cunt twice. Genuinely, the police came in. Because I was in the family section, which I never knew at the time.
it was all the bairns sitting around you with the giveaway, to be fair.
It's like, fucking hell. Young.
Right, young fan base.
Honestly, fucking the postman came up to us twice. The warned these and says, if you swear again, you'll be getting ejected. Couldn't believe it. Honestly.
Like Neil said, poor performance, but a bit of an overreaction to defeat at a ground we've not had much success at recently. Real indicators of progress will be how we get on against Motherwell and Livy before the big one against Hearts. Thought Rocky was rusty, but looks decent. Fair points there.
Aye.
They are, but it's not what was getting judged previously because the other games didn't count. It was the big games that mattered.
Mm-hmm.
So the Motherwells and what was it, Dundee United?
Let
They
me
know what he'll be judged on. He'll be getting judged on He'll be getting judged on his performances in the derby and against improving against Rangers and Celtic, and it'll be assumed that we'll be beating the Motherwells, the Dundee United,
Aye.
and all that. So it's no really. I don't think he's right, but it's not the case.
Josh, this is my Josh, who provided me with the Longbangers t-shirt. I meant to give him a shout out for that when I was wearing it last week. It was my Christmas present. Reflected on the Nisbet.
He's got a fucking job. Did he buy you a fucking t-shirt?
It wasn't the only present, but it was one of them. He'd actually got it for my birthday, but it arrived late, so he thought, "Fuck it, I'll keep it and I'll use it for Christmas." It's a true story.
Bumper Christmas, fuck off for your birthday.
Anyways, quality. He's talking about this, but getting the abuse. It shouldn't even be a situation. It's a total sitter, but every player misses chances. Nisbet struggled since coming back from COVID and playing one up top. His form will come back. I think people need to find the difference between criticising and attacking. That's
a very valid point. His last sentence there is the most pertinent point now.
Aye. And it's not right to criticise, isn't it? But it's not right to abuse. That's always the way that I would look at it. Is you can be objective and you can say something had a shit game or whatever. But if you call somebody a cunt for having a shit game, that's out of order. And Liam Casey said, "Can we shut down Block 7? Daft Boys who couldn't touch Section 43." I'm presuming that's to do with the kind of point we made earlier on about the Rangers songs and what have you. So I think that I try not to get involved in these things because I didn't really care who's doing what and all the rest of it. But Block 7 didn't seem to have got off by the best of starts. So around Section 43 kind of got off with a really positive way. Kind of they got up and running and kind of made got everybody on side quite early on. Doesn't seem to have gone that way for Block 7. So I hope they can.
It would appear they're trying to politicise things.
Aye, definitely.
For shock value, you know, quite happy to just sing whatever it is to upset the other side. It's nonsense.
When we first started going to the football, the stuff that you would sing to opponents and all that. Like, do you know, usually, Raymond, Leon, you're a wee bit younger than us, right? But folks sing about Robbo's wife. That happened. Like Richard Goff, that was the song. Aye, right. So obviously we're not saying that's what he is because it was just we're saying that was the song. Time just in case he's listening, we're not calling Richard Goff an actual child molester. We're just saying people sang Richard Goff. And
you're not because you're not going to edit this out like the BBC did when Richard Goff was on talking about no surrender and all that, and they edited the podcast. They
took it out, didn't they? But it used to be pretty hostile towards like opponents and that. And
we now just get to players on social media instead.
It's weird there. We've kind of gone harsher on our aim players and with like the Stevie Fulton thing and everything. Kind of like you can't call folk ugly in that nowadays. You get slaughtered for it. You get cancelled if you said somebody was ugly. But
he might even carry Caldwell when he cheated on the wife when he came back.
What was it? So what's it like to shag a hun? Was it?
It was.
Where's all that banter gone for football? Where has it gone?
Aye. Well, the only one that got my approval was the boy who was the. I'm trying to remember who he was. He was the goalie. I think he was. Is it Airdrie? He was the scab.
Scab.
Oh, John Martin.
Aye.
John Martin. Aye, he was a scab, and he just got scab pelted at him the entire game, and that got my approval.
That's fucking brilliant.
Aye. So what was it? Bring back abusing opponents and leave the rain team alone, but do they sing about dead folk? Unless it's Mercer.
Well,
I lose where the moral compass goes. If I'm honest with you, after a stage or after a fashion. Anyway, right. Moving on before we end up getting cancelled for talking shite about it. Sing better songs. I think that's like the at least make them.
I sit right next to them, like right next to them.
Yeah.
So I'll play fucking. I'll be rolling about fucking 14, 12-year-olds in fucking the next same game because they're fucking slagged them off earlier on. But
sorry about that.
If that's the case, when you come. I don't want to fight you.
One at a time.
And bring your Alsatians with you.
Just sing songs for about Hibs. Just support Hibs. No, you don't need to be. You don't need to be giving people abuse and talking about dead people and whatever the hell it is. You know, didn't need to be hearing about, I don't know, the diarrhea or whatever the hell you think is going to offend the other lot, you know? Just didn't.
Aye.
It's madness.
Right, Cove Rangers on Thursday. You're all going?
Aye.
I should be there, aye.
I got my ticket last night. For some reason, I thought I'd be able to still go get my seat, but fucking my seat's long gone. So I picked a wee seat in the West Lord and behind the dugout, which I think will be interesting to watch the game for there. I'm going to have to, obviously, no stand directly behind Sean Maloney in case I can't see.
It's a good view there. The seats are a bit narrower though, like in front of your knees will be.
Are they?
Aye, I feel that when I've sat there. I've only sat there a few times, but I always feel there's less room in front of you.
Leg room.
Aye.
Oh, well. I'm looking forward to it. How do you think it'll go? Raymond, think we'll see many new signings?
Hope so. Whether we will or not, I don't know. I suspect they will mix it up a little bit. You know, it would be lovely to see Mueller and all the rest of it. But as I say, I think maybe he's got a knock. Otherwise, why the hell's he been given a start? I'd be tempted to start Doidge. I said that previously. But there again, I'm sort of going back on what I've been saying about, you know, giving this a bit of a chance because there's no point in fucking just, you know, piling into him. But maybe a rest and almost a sort of metaphorical boot up the arse is required. I don't know. I'm not part of the group. I'm not part of the training group. I don't know what sort of person that Nisbet is. I don't know how he'd react to that. I would. Yeah, it's not really answered your question.
I would hope that's all right. I kind of used to that on this podcast. That's like 90% of the answers that I get are the answering the questions. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'd quite like to see is I maybe wouldn't mind seeing Dabrowski getting a wee start, just to, you know, just because why not? We've got 3 keepers there, right? Mm-hmm. I've no idea why the third boy's there if Dabrowski isn't out on loan somewhere getting some time to play.
I think Ewan off down the slope found that out. It was something to do with, but maybe when we were in Europe, you need a third keeper. You need to have 2 keepers on the bench in European times.
You did.
Yeah, but surely he could be out on loan just now and getting some valuable experience, and the other boy could be on the bench.
Yeah, he should. I think they should play him on Thursday, as well. Dabrowski. The only reason they might know is if they've got to put him out on loan, then he'd be cup tied.
Aye.
Yeah.
So I can't see why he wouldn't. That's how Macy got in the team last year, wasn't it?
And I take it is Porch just still suspended for this one? Or is this a Scottish Cup? Is that different?
So it's 2 games. I'm not sure if the 2 game ban. It was 2 games, isn't it? If it was the next game and then the next one in the same competition.
So no, 3 matches. 3 matches.
Was it 3 matches? Oh, McGinn got 2. Right. Fuck knows then.
See, I think if Porteous is due, if he's allowed back, I think he'd be tempted to play with 3 centre halves. So that's what I think he'd be tempted to do. Because I mean, you would expect us to have the vast majority of possession and them to put everyone behind the ball and counter attack. That's kind of what you're expecting to happen. So do you need four across the back for that? I don't know.
At the back, one at the back, and then I can pile forward. That's what I'm saying. Leon, how do you see us lining up?
I think might be free the back shoots if you'd like, if obviously Porch is available. I'm not sure. I think it was league. Was it sending off in the league? It was obviously the Rangers in. No, what was it?
It was off the ball thing. Mind he got done. Done after.
Sorry. Which I'm presuming means he'll be available for the cup. Which, if he is, you'd want to play him. You'd kind of get more than that just to get him playing. But I'd like to see a couple of new signings, like get minutes, especially Henderson. I think I would probably will see Henderson. Obviously, because he's on loan for Celtic, that's obviously what restricted him the other night. So I think we'll see Henderson. I'd like to see him.
Yeah, I'd love to see him.
Aye.
I'm interested to see Tate. I think he had a great
reputation
at Wraith. I've got a pal who's a Rovers fan. He he was really enthusing about him. Saying we've got
He's
a
played a lot
proper-
more football than
proper
Henderson as well. But I
Aye.
think the danger with Henderson's because he's come from Celtic, what his brother done, or what Hugh's
Did-
brother is.
Did Tate and
Yes.
Henderson no play together at Wraith?
Let me tell you.
Was Henderson on loan at Wraith as well?
I'm sure he was.
Ross
I'm maybe-
Ross County and Dunfermline, I think, was it not?
Aye.
Was it?
They were getting Dunfermline and Wraith mixed up. That's a sin over these parts. If you did that, Colin, anybody else that you'd like to see get a? Get a
No,
goal?
I think I agree. I'd change the keeper just to, assuming that the plan is to keep him on. Doidge up front. I think I'd like to see Mueller start just to see, like he's obviously been. I don't know if he's been overhyped or not, but that's the thing, it's maybe one of them that we're expecting too much. Same like I'm downplaying Henderson there as well, same reason. So I think I'd make a few changes because it should still be good enough to beat them. My concern is that we maybe underestimate them because they're a decent side with a bit of money
Aye.
and that they're probably a championship level team, and we're probably due an early exit out of a cup.
Probably do one.
It's not a thing that's happened for a few seasons, so
Aye, cheers for that.
I don't know. I can see it maybe even going to extra time in that.
Score
Aye.
predictions then. Leon, go you first.
3-0 Hibs.
Colin,
2-1.
after extra
Hibs.
time.
Maybe just a late one for Nisbet coming off the bench late on to piss everybody
Leon?
off.
4-0, Nisbet hat trick.
I think it'll be a comfortable night. I think we'll go 4 or 5.
You know what? I think it'll be really scrappy. It'll be really tough. We'll not break them down for a good wee bit, and then we'll get our goal. And it'll open up a bit. That's how I think it'll pan out.
Well, there's got to be like an eerie sort of atmosphere in that. I think there'll be many folk there.
I think it's
No.
not a crowd look at the moment, is it no? Mind you,
Oh, is it? I read it
Uh,
earlier on. It was earlier on today, and there was folks saying there's hardly any tickets being moved, but I didn't.
Oh.
I've not checked since sort of maybe lunchtime or late morning. So
could be
maybe
wrong then.
it's moved a bit because there's only 2 stands opening anyway, isn't it?
Aye.
So it'll feel like
It's live in the telly as well.
it's-
Yeah. Well, get yourselves along. It's not a tenner, isn't it? If you're a season ticket holder, like 15 for non-season ticket holders.
Yep.
It's no bad value to go and watch some good players and Hibs. That's a wee joke there. Hibs are the
Hibs
good
as well,
players.
yep.
Both. Right, that's pretty much our time for the night. We will be back on a day this week, and I can remember we're going to do short bangers because we would have done it on Thursday, but there's a football game on, so it'll be Thursday. We might do it tomorrow, might do it Friday, maybe over the weekend. Who knows? Anyway, send us questions in, and until then, we'll see you next time.
County line, I pledged upon. Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't drink water, no,